that's the big reward of being a songwriter and being a musician is when people come up to you and they say that your song helped me get through some tough times. That's really important to me, and that is more important than all the accolades and all the
Yeah.
awards. I kind of count my blessings when that happens because I go, everything else aside, I'm lucky to be able to maybe help people get through a tough time, even if it's.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Juno Award, and you're watching Spill It. It's a show that gives you a glimpse into the performer's mindset and reveals the person behind the persona. It's a mad, mad world because today, joining us in the virtual Spill It studio is eight-time Juno Award winner, Canadian Music Hall of Fame member, singer-songwriter Tom Cochrane. Tom's iconic career began with Red Ryder and has spanned over 4 decades, beginning in the pubs, roughneck bars, and coffee houses. Life is a highway, and Tom will tell you that the highway has been a good teacher to him. Like a blank canvas, the possibilities are endless. Throughout his career, Tom has thrown his support behind a wide range of worthy causes like World Vision. World Vision is a global relief, development, and advocacy organization. They partner with children, families, and their communities to reach their full potential by tackling the causes of poverty and injustice. World Vision's COVID-19 response has already reached more than 50 million people. Their goal is 72 million. Visit donate.worldvision.ca. Let's make this happen together. If you're ready to get back up and play in the big leagues, stay tuned as this episode is for you. Tom, thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure, Kaya. It's good to talk to you again. Boy, you just wowed me with those. What do you call those
The
martial arts?
nunchucks?
Yeah, those things. You're amazing.
Thank
You've got
you.
to be one
Thank
of
you
the
very much.
best. And then you were in a what video was it? Not a Katy Perry. It was somebody's video. It
It's Katie
was
Tunstall.
yes. Wow, and I love her work. That was quite an honor. You must be good for her to ask you into that
Thank
to be in
you.
that video. That's great.
You have had an amazing music career. It's really incredible when you look at everything you've done on Wikipedia. And you were originally from Manitoba, and your dad was a bush pilot, which is
Hmm.
very cool. I read that at 11 years old, like me, you picked up your first guitar. What
Hmm.
made you decide that you wanted to be a musician?
Um, I think I wrote poetry as a kid, and of course, back then when I was a kid, which is a long time ago, obviously now, um, writing poetry wasn't the coolest thing in the world to do. So you didn't. I wasn't too vocal about it. But then when the music came along and everybody seemed to be in a band, then it was cool to put poetry to music. And
Mhm,
I guess I was
definitely.
pretty good at it, and I had a good signature. I had a good style. And one thing led to another, and I ended up going to university and going to college, and then playing in college pubs and that, and during the summer, and the summer became the endless summer. All of a sudden realized I was pretty good at
And what was it like touring and playing in small venues for the first few years?
it. You know what? It's miserable. It's funny, like in my song "Good Times," I say, "You remember all the good ones, forget about all the bad." So now you look back on it and you realize that those are character builders. All those tough
Yeah,
times,
totally.
and the dirty clubs, and I mean, boy, we had club owners pulled guns on us and
Oh
not
my
pay us, and
god.
we had to somehow scrape together money to get home, and sleeping in cars, sleeping in vans, like I said. And it was tough, man. We would play
Yeah, it sounds like
sometimes,
it.
especially in Quebec, we'd play until 4 in the morning. We'd have to play 6 sets. And so
Wow.
so it was rough. I mean, we really paid our dues, and I think everybody does, and that sort of makes you stronger. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That old cliche. And but it was tough. It's not
Yeah,
glamorous like people think it might be. We had to pay a lot of dues. We weren't making a lot of money.
and then if you
Exactly.
were to pick one funny experience that stood out from all the rest while touring with Red Ryder in the early days, what would it be?
I mean, one thing wasn't very funny, but the bus. I guess we blew a tire and we drove off a cliff. It wasn't a very big cliff, and the bus ended upside down, and we kind of spent a good chunk of the night. I think that was down. We were going through Arizona someplace, and we
Oh,
spent a good chunk of time trapped in that bus. Luckily, it didn't get catch on fire and stuff. So the band kind of.
yeah. And out of all the venues you've played at, do you have a favorite?
I think Massey Hall is probably my favorite, just because of the history there and the fact that I used to go there when I was 10 and 11, 12, and saw some of the artists that really had a huge impact on me and my life and my music. Um, and it just is such a great hall. You could just feel the ghosts in that room of all the wonderful artists that have played there over a long, long
Yeah.
period of time. That hall goes back many, many years.
And you've had a huge amount of success with your solo career as a songwriter. What is your creative process like?
My creative process is, I tend to read a lot when I'm going into a creative period, and I'm always open to stories, and I often say, I'm warning you, you're talking to a songwriter, so everything you say may be held against you or repeated, and we're kind of like pack rats, kind of
Mhm.
scavenging from other people's, scraps. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
songwriting is. You kind of live experiences, you experience things in life, and you also observe other people and what they're going through. So it's always a good warning when people are around a songwriter, beware what you do or say, because it might end up in a song.
When you were told that Life is a Highway was going to be used in the movie Cars, what was your first thought?
How much are they going to pay? I don't know if that was my first thought, but I thought it was a pretty cool offer. When the way these things happen is you're kind of offered um, what we call a sync um, arrangement, a sync fee, and whatever. And so they come to you and they say, "Well, this we want to use this song in such and such a film and this part of the film," and you agree to it, or you don't agree to it. And I really like the whole concept of it. It was wonderful.
Fact or fiction, you've traveled to Africa several times supporting World Vision.
Hmm. Fact, many, many times. But also as a songwriter, I think we look at things differently. So we look at songs that are kind of revolutionary, songs that really have uh, something about them that is it just turns your head around and changes your world and changes your perception of things and how to make music, perhaps.
Yeah. We've all been impacted by the pandemic, but what have you been doing to keep busy and stay positive?
I think it's a really tough task, because it just seems to, keep coming at us wave after wave, and some people have had an easier time than others. Um, it's been really tough for me and my compatriots who make their living in our business. It's really hit our sector hard. So, I did a lot of charity virtual um, work back in the spring when it first started a year ago. And it's hard to believe it's over a year now that we've been going through
Right.
this. And then luckily we were going into a summer, and it was a very good summer, and I was up here, so I swam a lot, I exercised a lot. I'm trying to exercise a lot. Not being a young guy, I think it's important, um, maybe even more important than it was years ago, because I want to be in good shape once we start to tour again and start to
Yeah,
be able to play live again, which God willing will be won't be too far away. Yeah, and it's been tough on everybody. It's but our sector has really been hit hard, as the whole entertainment and restaurant sector has been hit. So
definitely.
it's been hard, but it is a matter of staying positive. We are going to get through this, and the old cliche, "We're in this together." We will get through this, and I think when we get out and play music again, people are gonna be even more grateful and more anxious to get out and listen to that music than ever.
Definitely. And now it's time for our final question.
Okay, shoot.
If
I'm
you
ready
were
for anything.
talking if you were talking to a younger version of yourself, what advice would you give you?
Oh, that is a really good question. And like a lot of good questions, it's tough to answer because there's probably a few things. But I would say, Akaya, I would say be more considerate of other people. I think, like in the song Boy Inside the Man that I wrote, you go through a period where you're pretty tough on everybody, because you're ambitious. And sometimes with ambition, you become a little bit ruthless here and there. And I think if I was talking to myself, I would say, be more considerate, be kind to other people, and
Hmm.
always, you know, and and think with a little bit more care about the people you love and you care about.
Yeah, that's really important.
It is.
And that's all the time we have. But before we go, do you have any final words of wisdom you'd like to leave our audience with?
Just everybody be strong, and it's going to be a beautiful summer. We're blessed with a gorgeous day right now, and just be patient. We're going to get through this, and we're going to come out the other side. It's there'll be little setbacks, like we're going through another phase 3 thing here, phase 4, whichever it is. But I think when we get through this and we get everybody vaccinated, we'll be able to get back to socializing and get back to, it may not get back to 100% the way it was. I think we're all going to be a little more conscious of hygiene and perhaps wearing masks in certain situations we might not in the past. But we're going to get through this, and we're going to be better
Mhm.
for it.
And once we're off air, where can our viewers find you?
Well, Twitter. I work Twitter a lot. There's Tom Cochrane on Facebook as well as Instagram. And it's Tom Cochrane at capital MUS. So look for that and look for the little check mark in the shield, because there's been a lot of fakers out there. There's been a lot of phony people that have tried to abscond with my name. So yeah, it's Tom Cochrane MUS, capital MUS, and then there's a little check mark on Twitter. Yeah, and a lot of my Twitter feed, which is where I make contributions and management does out of New York, um, gets fed over to Facebook as well, and then Instagram, of course. And you know what that one is, Kaya, so you can tell them about that one.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being ready to spill it with us, Tom. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
My pleasure, Kaya.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to end here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head on over to our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, share, and get involved. Until next time, Akaya, out.